In this video, I'll demonstrate how to create a page that looks like this, complete with a menu, an item in the menu up here, some text here, some tabs here, and some content here, and a working model right here. So it's a bit of an involved process, so put your seatbelt on and enjoy the show. I don't know why you're wearing a seatbelt at your show, but that's your problem, not mine. All right, anyway, so we're going to create a new learning module. This is one way to do it. There are others, but I find that to be a pretty easy one. You can also just go down here and learning modules, add new. That works just as well. Mine's going to have dummy content in it. And so I'm going to put some of this dummy content in it. I'm going to work in the text option here instead of the visual editor. That works a little better with shortcodes, but your mileage may vary and you can try whatever you like. So I'm just going to write some content here, and that content will end up being right in here. So there's my content, and now I'm going to start using the shortcodes. So you can find help on the shortcodes in Publishing Help, and it's right over here. The All Shortcodes has all of the help that you need. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to start by just grabbing this sample content right here and using that. And so I'm just going to copy that, and I'm going to come back over here and paste it in. So now we've got a panels shortcode, and there's the opening, there's the closing, and then a panel tabs shortcode, and a panel tabs shortcode down here. So just to illustrate how this all works, I'm going to panel tab 1. I'm going to put some text in here just to illustrate, and then I'm going to put panel content 1 down here. So there's two, in every panel there's two sub areas. One is called panel tabs, and one is called panel contents. And the panel tabs open and close the panel contents. Now this won't show that aspect of it, but if I hit publish right here, then we'll be able to open up this page, and we'll see panel tab 1, I misspelled it, that's cool, and panel content 1. So this is in your page, this is the panel tab area, and this is the panel content area down here. And here you see it's already trying to load a 3D model. Now we don't have any loaded yet, but at least you see that that's working. So this viewing area just comes naturally with the panels shortcode. All right, so let's go back here and let's put a little more content in. I'm going to put multiple tabs, and I'll do 3. And 3 content areas, and I'm going to change this to tab, and actually I'm just going to get rid of this panel tab stuff and just make it be 1, 2, and 3. Simplicity. All right, and this I'll leave a little bit longer. All right, so now we got that. So now, when we go back, we'll see 3 tabs. 1, 2, and 3. Now, I can click these, but nothing happens down here. And that is not desirable. We got to figure out how to make this, our panel content, open when we click on the tabs. That's the whole point of it. So the mechanism for doing that is described down here under panel tab. So it says here that we need an ID, and that ID needs to match the title of one panel content. All right, so let's do that. And you can see the example down here. It's got ID 1 and ID 1, and they match. Now this one, for illustration purposes, does not match, so that won't work. But we're going to make ours work. So let's go in here and let's add that ID attribute. So we'll do ID equals 1. ID equals 2, and ID equals frog. I just going to do frog here just to show you that the magic is not in the numbering, and it's just that the names have to match each other. ID equals 1, down here in a content, ID equals 2, and ID equals 3. All right, so then we go back here, load the tab up, and now when I click on 2, it changes to panel content 2. When I click 3, nothing shows up, and that's because I did not match my two IDs. One says frog and one says 3. So if I change this back to 3, it will do it. I'm not going to demonstrate that right now when I move on. So the next challenge that we have here is how do we get the new models to show up on here? The whole idea is to display a model in this area. So the trick for that is that we're going to go down here to the bonegl command. The bonegl command has a lot of attributes, but only one of them is required, and that is the 3D URL right here. So I'm actually just going to grab this, and we're going to use it. So here we've got 1, and I'm going to replace that, and I'm going to put the 1 in here. All right, so now the text that I put inside the bonegl shortcode is going to become the 1. I'm going to change it to 1 model just so you can see. All right, so now when I click update and we go back to this page, it starts to load a module, and actually it should load it in there, but it isn't. Well, I'll worry about that later, but the idea is we've got the 1 model thing here. Let's go back to our sample code, and we got bonegl, 3D URL. I'll bet it's because of those quotation marks. Let's see. Could be wrong. You've got to have regular quotation marks, and copying and pasting from here might give you problems with quotation marks. So beware of that. And let's see, is it working now? Looks like it. Taking a while to load. I'm on a bad internet connection, and I'm sorry if this is boring. So let's go back while that's doing that, and we'll do a couple more. And second, and third. I bet you I know what the problem is. No, there it is. Cranium works. All right, so that's good. So let's go back here. We got Cranium working, and now we can add some of the other attributes in. So one of them is a 2D model, and I'm going to grab this and use it. All right, and I'll put that in the second one just for illustration purposes. I'm going to change those quotation marks again. Then down here, I'm going to leave off the 2D model, and I'm going to add a couple of our other attributes. Sometimes the images, you won't want to zoom in, you won't want to use the natural zooming default, which is 0 to 100. You'll want to use something narrower. If that's the case, then here's how to do it. You want to use an attribute called zoom min and an attribute called zoom max. So if you just want to say, don't zoom all the way in, you go zoom min equals, we'll make it something silly, high. So now this will not zoom all the way in. Let's just sort of see what zooming looks like. So if we zoom all the way down to 0, it's really far in. And if we zoom all the way out to 100, it's really far out. So you can see why we might want that. Actually, I think I'll change the max. I think I'll make it so that the max of it is 80%. So it will never go all the way out to here. Let's try that. So I'll change this to zoom max, and we'll make it 80 because 100 is too big. But 0 I thought was fine. All right, so let's hit update. Wait for that to happen. Then we reload it. And let's see how our new BoneGL attributes change our experience. And again, it's taking a long time. While that's happening, I'm going to start the next stage, which is going to the menus. How do we add these on the menus? So when you come to the menus page, you might notice that you might not be on the right menu, and you have to change that up here. So we want to go to the Learning Modules menu. That will allow us to change this menu here. That's the Learning Modules menu. Notice pathology, sex estimation, stature, and taphonomy. And if we go back here, pathology, sex estimation, stature, and taphonomy. We're going to just add a new one at the bottom. Make it a learning module, and we want new taphonomy. And we'll hit add to module, or sorry, add to menu. And now that's there at the end, we'll hit save. Now I'm going to go back to there, and I'm not going to reload right away. I'm going to show you how the 2D things work. I'm going to switch to second model. That's the one that had the 2D image. And it takes a second sometimes to load, because it has to load this big file here. But now when we, no, and it's not working. Wonderful. Well, that's still how you do it, and I'll debug that later. Third model, this one takes a second to load, and you'll see now that our max zoom is at 80. And it won't go any further. So that's what those mins and maxes do. All right, so let's reload this and get our new menu up. And there it is, new taphonomy, and it shows that it's underlined so we know that we're on there. And let's just try that second model one more time. Go to our loading page, and it's still not working. Okay, well, let's just double check here and see if there's something obvious. Maybe it'll be helpful for you to see what went wrong. So let's see, 2D URL. I'll bet you it just doesn't like that I left off the HTTPS. So get that whole URL in, and 2D URL. Everything else should be okay. Let's try that again. And we'll wait for it to load. So it's a big file, and we're going to be working on how to fix that for our users over the course of the next couple months. But for right now, as you can see, if you're on a bad internet connection, it can really take a while to load. It's loading now, and there it is finally. All right, so let's switch to the second model, and still no 2D. So I've got some debugging to do, but that information that I gave you there is right. Yeah.